Here with Chef Vivian. Welcome to my garden. Today I'll be showing you how we plant tomatoes. It's the first tomatoes of the season. It's going right to the ground now. I have here different species of tomatoes that we went to pick up from the shop. So we are going to show you how we plant them here. It's just a raised bed here where we plant the tomatoes every year, and we also sometimes plant some other vegetables here to mix up the vegetable beds so that we can prevent pests and also diseases. So let me just show you, go straight to the point. I already made the irrigation system here like I showed in the last live video. I was showing how we give water to the plant because it's really warm now, and we want to keep it simple and easy also, because taking and giving water every day to the plant is exhausting, and it's really difficult combining with work and other daily activities. So promise you, you will really be happy with this system if you can put a lot of irrigation. Like this is just a simple pipe. You can buy it on Amazon store and just lay it in your garden, and promise you, you'll be good to go and you'll be really glad you did it. So this is a raised bed here. It's full of manure. I've already dumped a lot of residues, that is manure from the recycling of the green vegetable that has been harvested from the garden from the previous years. We don't throw it away. As I told you, we do a lot of recycling here. Why? Because it helps the nature, providing food for the next year, and it's also helping the control of disease, pests, and other things also. So that is just the basic of starting what you see here now. So let me just put you through step by step. I have different type of species of tomatoes here. This is one of the smallest tomatoes you can find in the shop or in the market. This is a thornberry species, the yellow thornberry species. Like you see, they have just tiny stem, roots, and you see the leaves also. They are, yes, really special tomatoes, and they're also very delicious and also gorgeous. So it's as easy as that. You know, tomatoes also always need support also, but they can also do well just with a bamboo. Just putting a bamboo next to it and with a twine, and you are good to go. So I'm going to use my little shovel here. So on my nail support. So like you can see here that the soil is really fertile. I can say fertile, yes, because it has enough to eat. You can see it. So it's really dark. So I'm just going to remove a little bit of the soil here. I'm adding a bit of manure to the soil, like you see here, feeding, and I'm going to just place the tomatoes here in the middle, and I cover it with the soil. So that is all, and later I'll be supporting them with this bamboo that you see here. You can even tie it, you can even add a twine to the little stick beside it to give it support for some days before you start supporting it with the bamboo. So for now, I just allow it this way, and I'll keep on planting the rest of the tomatoes. So, and this species of tomatoes, the thornberry species, is also a very wide species. That is to say that it has different types of, it have a lot of branches. So it can go really from here to here. So I'm giving it all this space from here to the back so that it have also place to grow enough. He'll be climbing this tree, this support here, what do you call it, this fence here to the top of the fence if possible. So make sure that you give him a space. So you know, when you are planting like small species like this one, it's smaller than a thornberry. It's bigger in size than a thornberry, but it doesn't spread that much. So you can plant something closer to this, but when you are planting a thornberry tomatoes, you should give it more space so that it can survive and grow well. So you can see here also my irrigation is bringing a lot of water here. So what I will do here, I'm going to plant a big species of tomatoes. Let me see first the tomatoes that need a lot of water. I will check if I have something here. Let me see. Okay, I'll plant this one here. It's something that is bigger, so you can see it. So it needs also more water. So I'm just going to place the tag there so that later I can be able to label it and know exactly the day that is planted, so that we can also control the calendar, the feeding, and other process. So I'm just going to shift this to the other side. So we're a little bit late this year. Normally it should be already planted before this time of the year. We plant normally the first week of May, but now it's already almost end of May. But I think it's just the right time. Anything later than this, it will be difficult also for you to start harvesting before the winter arrives. So I think the best period is between the first week of May and last, that is, the tomatoes should be planted the last week of May. Yes. So this is also a small one. Okay, here also the ananas tomato. This is the ananas species. It's a very special tomato, so I like it so much because it tastes really good and it's gorgeous. It's really big, it's meaty, and you can do a lot. There's a lot of people who don't know this species of tomatoes. It's really sweet in nature, and sometimes it can turn orange when it's really ripe. It can go to about an orange color, like that. So it's a very nice one. So I'm just planting them, adding some food or some manure, you call it, and bury them. The ground. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining Klavertje Vier Kitchen here with Chef Vivian, and then thank you for joining this episode of our first planting season. Last year you saw me planting the tomatoes and you saw me harvesting it, and I'm doing just the same this year again, showing you step by step here how we do it right here in our kitchen. My goal is to show you that you can plant and harvest food from the little space you have in your backyard. You don't need a big place or big portion of ground to be able to create food for yourself. So I'm here to inspire you to create that delicious food in the backyard of your home that you can share with your friends, your family, and even your loved ones. So let's keep going. So I'm still searching. That is the other one there. So later I'll be supporting it. I'll be putting some bamboo stick to give it support so that it will be standing tall and, you know, straight to the top. But you can even leave your tomatoes to crawl if you want. And before, my grandmother also used to do it that way. She allowed the tomatoes to crawl. She never stick a tomato. She never put anything like bamboo to help the tomatoes. She just allowed them crawl, and they still do very well. And she harvests a lot of tomatoes. So it's just a style that came later when men started planting tomatoes and I started giving it support. But I bet you, even without the support sticks or the bamboo, you can still grow your tomatoes really well, even allowing it crawling, you know, on the floor, or how do you call it, on the ground. So I'll be I'll be planting all the small species behind there. Why? Because okay, I can plant this. Is also the thornberry. I have here 2 thornberries species, the yellow species and the red species. You can see it here. The yellow species is I think the second one there, you see it. So this one is also the same. Planted it some years ago, but it was almost 2 years now. It was no more in the market, but it came back this year, and yes, I have it again. Maybe I'll be able to save some seeds in the winter so that I can sow it in the beginning of next year so that I can plant it myself. So I like sowing seeds sometimes, but this year I was too late because of some circumstances beyond my control. I could not sow the seeds, so I just decided to go to the shop and buy some grown tomatoes already. So you can see they're already away grown. I just put them or plant them in the soil, and in 6 weeks to 8 weeks, I will have a delicious, fresh, home planted tomatoes that will be harvested here, right in our backyard. So. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining Klavertje Vier Kitchen. My name is Chef Vivian. As you know, I love planting my own food because I believe that you should be a master of yourself. So you should not depend on anybody. And with that little space behind your home, you can make food for yourself, for your friends, and for your family. So that is all that I'm here to inspire you to do, and nothing more. Everyone can do that. And homegrown tomatoes are so delicious, honestly. There is no tomatoes, nothing in the market that you can use to compare with the taste of home. Sorry. So you see, it's not difficult. I'm also putting the, the green here on the floor, putting it in so that we know exactly which tomatoes is that, and also I will know how many food to give, how many manure to give to it. Sorry, how many manure to give to it, because if it's a bigger tomatoes, they need more manure, and if it's a smaller one, they need less manure. So that is how I do it every year, and it works. So you see the soil is so wet now because of the irrigation. You see, that is how your soil will be wet. So I think last year it was a little bit, it was not enough because I had two pipe of the irrigation. So I have to sometimes give additional water by watering manually. So this year I decided to add two more to it. But the way when like I'm seeing it now, I think it's enough because the soil is wet from under the soil, and that is what you want. You don't want to be watering your tomatoes from on top, because when you start watering it on top of the leaves, then you can create all kind of disease. You can invite disease to the plant, and that is why the irrigation system is also very important, because the plant is receiving water from the roots and not from the top. So it prevents disease, and the plant grows very, very well without interruption, because there's always constant water. That is not aggressively. That water is just going on a very slow pace, slow pace. That is what a plant needs to grow well. So still be going there. I think there's still one other tomato, so I'm going to pick up. Let's see, these tomatoes. So they are already there. This is also gorgeous tomato. This is also the black cherry. I've planted it many years and I love them. They have it is such a delicious, it's like, I don't know, what would you call it? It's like cherry. I don't know. It is so soft. Honestly, it's so soft and so delicious. And the skin are so tender. It's a so tender skin. This one, the black cherry. If you can see the picture here, you can see that is one of my best tomatoes that I always plant every year. In fact, if I don't find them, it's as if, it's a bad year. So they are also one of my best here that I plant every year. So I just like planting all the different species here because it adds so much color to the summer, When you have that different tomato salad and on your plate, and the taste really great, from sour to sweet, and like, yeah, from all type of taste. You see, even here, you even think that there is no water coming. I thought that there was too less water here, but no, look, it's also damp. It's also wet. I see the irrigation is a very good system. The water is going in a very slow pace, not how do you call it, very, not too much, but very, very slow. And that is what the plant really needs to grow well. I'll be adding a little bit of manure. So yes, so we're almost there. You see it. Sometimes not. Well, you can see all the plants, the different plants I've planted. And now what I'm going to do after this, I've planted the tomatoes in all the line. I will be adding a little bit of herbs, different types of herbs to the tomatoes. Like that is I call it a kind of cross planting. And this is just to prevent insect from invasion, because when you plant only one plant in a particular place or a particular raised bed, you invite insects, because there are certain insects that love maybe tomatoes or just love one other plant. But when you mix the plants, what happens? You confuse the smell sense of insects. So when the insects come, they will imagine that it's not tomatoes anymore, it is something else. So that is the really job of cross planting. Cross planting is to prevent insects from invading your plants or any plant, and also it also helps in disease control. So that is the only reason why cross planting is very important, and that is one of the best way I use personally to control disease and also pests. I didn't know that the soil is wet. I thought it was not, there's not enough water, but yes, it's enough. You see? So irrigation is really good. Irrigation is so good. So let me check out, plant this here or that here. That is. So I think the cherry tomatoes, I will be putting it there because I'll still be etiqueting it. Here, because I need water. So these are the red pear tomatoes. This is called red pear. So they are also very delicious, very thin skin layer. The skin is not so thick like the most tomatoes. Sometimes we peel it, but it's not really necessary to peel this type of tomatoes. You can eat them like that without even peeling them. So that is that. So I'm always adding the tag so that I can etiquette it later, that I can know exactly what tomatoes is that, so that when I'm feeding them, I know which one and the amount of feeding I'll be giving. Okay, this I'll be planting inside the greenhouse later. This also I'll be planting in the greenhouse. The yellow one I'll be planting there. So this is also the yellow pear. It's the same thing as this. And it's the same thing as the last one that I planted here. That is the red pear. So this is the yellow species of the same tomatoes. But there's one thing about these tomatoes is that you have to plant it where there's less water. So because this will be the first tomatoes that will be dead when the winter comes, and when the beginning of the heavy rainfall from the end of October, you should know that it's done with this. So make sure you plant this exactly in a space or under a shade or in your greenhouse, wherever you can. You plant it where it doesn't receive a lot of water, then it will be very, very good to go. It will survive. But when there's a lot of water, you will have problem with especially this species. And what is the problem? You don't have any problem during the flowering, during the growing process until the flowering process. The flowering process is okay. There's a lot of water coming in, but immediately it starts bearing fruit and it is ripe. Like you see, it turns yellow. If there is any heavy rainfall, you have to pluck it immediately and save it inside. If you don't do that, in 2 days time, all the tomatoes will be open. You see, it will just be open. It will just be, it will burst. Let me just use that word. So that is, it cannot tolerate so much water when ripe. It only tolerates water when it's still in the growing process or it's still flowering. So that is one thing you have to know about specifically the pear species of tomatoes. And also the green, the little green there also is still the same. So this is just with my knowledge of planting all these years. So this is a pear species. So this is also the green cherry. This is also what is a little bit sugary. This is sweet. This is a little bit sweet and also soft texture. When you see it, it's as if it's green, yellowish or so when it's ripe. But you would think that it's still raw, it's still not mature, but it's already mature. But that is the final color of the tomatoes at the end before you harvest it. The skin is soft and really tender also, and a little bit sweetish, let me say sugary. So I'll be planting it here, even though it doesn't need a lot of water like that, but I'll be keeping an eye on it. And if it needs more shade or so, and then I have to cover this space at the back to prevent a lot of water from coming in. But these tomatoes in particular doesn't need a lot of water, so that's why sometimes you should also have a section in the garden. Like you can see now in the beginning there's a lot of water coming in. The irrigation system is like from there a lot of water to the middle, and then at the last end of the raised bed the water is like dropping. So the volume of the water is less in this side. So what did I do now? I was thinking of changing the system that I give exactly the same water. But yes, all plants and all the tomatoes don't need equal amounts of water. So I think it's a good thing that there is a lot of water there and there's less water here. What did I do now? I plant all the tomatoes that need less water in this side of the raised bed, and then the bigger tomatoes that need much water I planted them in the beginning of the raised bed where there's a lot of water coming from the irrigation hose. So the tomatoes have been planted already. You see them from beginning to the end. So I have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I have here 18 different species of tomatoes in this one raised bed. But then I will still be planting some inside the greenhouse because there are other smaller species also that will not be so tall, because the greenhouse now is maximum 2-meter height. So I can, when tomato like here is more than 2 meter, and I can also bend it and manipulate it and support it with the bamboo, and also manipulate them to give them space here to grow well. But in the greenhouse they have limitation of height, because I don't want the greenhouse also to be crowded, because I have other plants also growing inside the greenhouse. So I'll be planting all the short species there inside the greenhouse to keep everything in the right proportion. So this is the episode of the tomatoes. See all the tomatoes, the first tomatoes of the year. So as you join me every section since last year to see step by step how I grow my garden every year, from beginning to finish until harvest, and show you how I transform every piece of it into that beautiful meal that you see coming to you right from our kitchen. My name is once again Chef Vivian from Klavertje Vier Kitchen, and thank you guys for joining me again in this live episode. So see you in the next one as we show you step by step how the garden is taking tune. Here is all we do here, making our own food, preparing them, and showing you step by step how you can grow food behind your little space in the backyard of your home with just basic seeds or basic plants that you have. Common things: tomatoes, onions, spring onions, radishes, and whatnot. Name them. You can do so much in that little space of your own. So growing from the garden to your plate, it is so simple. You don't have any reason to be hungry when you have a backyard behind your home, okay? So thank you guys once again. Chef Vivian here from Klavertje Vier Kitchen, right from our little city of Cuisine in the province of West Flanders, from our little country of Belgium. Bye-bye, everyone, and see you in the next episode.